Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to 10 culture shocks of moving from the USA to the UK. Now, this is going to be interesting because I've seen a couple of videos, but with it being the other way around. So for someone who's either moved to the States, like Lawrence from Lost in the Pond, or someone who, you know, is just traveling between the two countries from the UK to the USA, you know, but it's going to be fun to get the perspective of someone who, you know, has, you know, swapped the USA for the UK, just to see how, you know, they find things here. You know, I imagine like there's going to be some things that they like, some things that they probably don't like, that they miss about their home country. But yeah, it's just going to be cool to get the perspective because, you know, like more often I hear about people that are leaving this country to go elsewhere, but I'm sure there's plenty of people who are coming into the country. You know, otherwise, you know, net migration would be like way up, like, whereas I think the numbers are quite even, to be fair. So yeah, this should be quite a fun video to watch. Let's do it.
Hi everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Julie Montague, sometimes otherwise known as Viscountess Hinchingbrook. It's a mouthful, I know. But I did marry into the British aristocracy nearly 2 decades ago. I've been living here in England now for nearly 20 years, and I thought it's about time that I let you all know what really my top 10 culture shocks moving from America to England are.
All right. I'm guessing the things being smaller here will be one, like smaller cars.
First culture shock has to be, hands down, the weather.
Yeah.
So the weather is definitely a culture shock. And listen, I grew up in, you know, outside Chicago where, you know, it was snowy, it was windy, the windy city. You know, we had pretty severe weather, but we did have good summers. The sun did come out in Illinois. And the sun here, it's like, it's almost like a celebration day when the sun comes out here. Today is a typical day in August. It's freezing cold. I'm gonna get on the cold in a second, but it's overcast. It probably is gonna rain.
But hold on a minute. I'd love to know where in England she's at. If she's in London in August, the sun is out. Like, it sounds like maybe she's up north somewhere, like where typically it's colder, they get less sunlight.
It's probably already rained. Wouldn't you say? By the way, I've got Claire and Stephen who are behind the camera, where you can see who, Stephen's from Liverpool, Claire is from around here, from Yeovil. We had such
Yeovil, right, yeah. North.
Fun putting together the sort of just doing this video. So the weather, what was it like for you guys growing up? Your whole life?
Nothing to write home about. It was always just average.
Yeah. Always
Which
wet when it's summer holidays.
That's right.
Always wet.
Always, and we're gonna get onto that word, as Claire just said, summer holiday. We're gonna talk about that.
We also like moaning about the weather.
Oh, yeah.
Complaining about the weather.
Yeah.
It's a very British thing.
Everything here is about the weather. Literally moaning about the weather. Oh my gosh. I mean, listen, I'm moaning about the weather right now and I'm not even British.
It's so true. Like, even when summer gets here, if it gets above 30, which it has been for the last few years, people are like, oh, it's just too hot, man. It's too hot. Oh, why is it so hot? Like, there's no pleasing the British sometimes.
That's good practice. Number 2 was queuing.
Queuing. Now, what he means by that is not queuing like pool table or whatever. It's queuing, standing
Forming a
in
line.
Because you guys line up for everything.
It's a public pastime and hobby.
Yeah.
We love a good queue.
They're just everywhere. There's queues everywhere. There's lines everywhere. You can't just like walk up in a shop and there's like people behind the till waiting for you. There's queues everywhere.
But hold on a minute. Like, if you're in a store and there's only one, you know, cashier or checkout attendant, what would you do in the States? Would you not form a queue? Or would you just kind of stand around the person waiting to be seen by them? A queue just makes things way easier. It's just, and it's fair. You just wait your turn.
So there's queues in the supermarket, which
Yeah.
also, by the way, and I bet Claire and Stephen don't know this, that in America, there's somebody bagging your groceries. So when I first arrived here, I remember my very first shop queuing in the supermarket. Finally, it's my turn. I put all my stuff on the conveyor belt. I get to the end and she just sat there and was like, okay. And I was like, wait, do I have to bag my own groceries? She was like, yeah, you do.
Hold on. So in America, they bag your groceries for you. Wow. That is new to me.
Okay, what did I write for number 3?
3 was food.
Food. So listen, the food has definitely gotten better. So I'm not
Careful here.
Yeah, I know, I have to be super
You could
careful
offend a lot
here,
of
right?
people.
Exactly. Food has definitely gotten better, but the food is definitely different. There's a lot of shepherd's pie. There's
Roast dinners. We love our roast dinners.
Roast dinners.
Yeah.
Fish and
There's-
chips on a Friday.
Can we tell the difference between shepherd's pie and cottage pie? So shepherd's pie has what type of meat?
Lamb's mint.
Lamb's mince,
And,
which
the other
we
one's
wouldn't really
beef,
call it
isn't it?
mince. We would call it ground.
Oh.
You call it, yeah, exactly. We call it
Ground
ground
lamb.
beef. You call it mince beef, and then cottage pie is
Beef.
right? So cottage pie has ground beef in it, as they would say minced, and shepherd's pie has minced lamb, but we would say ground lamb.
And one of them also has like some vegetables in there, like peas and carrots. I forget whether I think it's shepherd's pie that has beef, has mince with veggies.
Then we have, but there's a lot of roasts, just Sunday roasts. But it doesn't even have to be Sunday to have a roast.
A midweek roast, a roast on a Wednesday.
Roast on Wednesday. So there's,
Leftovers for the roast. You make too big a roast, you have another roast the next day.
and the roast is basically your roast, chicken usually, potatoes and carrots.
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
No, there's more. You get stuffing, you get Yorkshire puddings, you get, pigs in blankets sometimes. I mean, there's like, it's not just meat, like chicken, potato, and carrot. Come on.
Yeah.
Right. And what about, are we going to talk about fish and chips?
Yeah, Fish Friday, isn't it? Everyone has fish and chips on a Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
Everybody. Raymond, who has been working at Mount Britain Estate for 38 years, has fish and chips every Friday. Claire, Stephen, did you have fish and chips Friday?
Yeah.
Do you still do it?
Occasionally.
Not as much, but yeah, when I worked at the school, it was fish and chips Friday.
Right.
Always.
Fish and chips Friday.
Yeah.
So there you go. And we're going to talk about chips when we get into words. Stay tuned to see how many English.
I feel like Yeovil is probably quite rural. Like here in London or any other city like Birmingham or Manchester or Newcastle, the food is amazing. Like you can find pretty much anything. Most things you can get in the States, you can get here, I'm sure. The one area that we probably don't have as good as you guys, clearly, is like barbecue and like Cajun food and stuff like that. But yeah, London, you can get virtually anything you want here.
English equivalents of American words Stephen and Claire can guess right. Okay, this is a good one. Bangs.
Hair, right?
A friend.
Yeah.
See, did you know that we called it bangs? So tea drinking here, and I do have I found this in a charity shop, Elizabeth II, Queen, the current queen.
That's a
obviously,
cool
her
mug.
Coronation. I found this at Westminster, well, not at Westminster Abbey, but it was at Westminster Abbey 1953, but let's go to the tea. Everything. When you come in from the bad weather and you're, basically you're a drowned rat, everybody will make you a cup of tea. If you need to talk about something, you make a cup of tea. You make a cup of tea all day long, but then you still have tea time.
Everything stops for tea.
Everything stops
Everything.
for tea.
You have to find time for tea.
I agree. Like I'm having coffee because I'm filming this like in the morning and I need to wake up a bit. And coffee has a bit more caffeine in there, but I probably have at least 2 cups of tea a day as well as this. Maybe I should decrease my caffeine.
Always boil the kettle, have your tea, but here's the question to you both. Does the milk go in first, or do you put the milk in after?
Milk in first.
No.
Milk in first.
No, milk afterwards.
First.
No. You see, that's another thing.
no,
An
man.
afternoon tea is.
No, you put the tea bag in the mug, And the sugar, if you have sugar in your tea, I don't have sugar in my tea. You pour the hot water in, you stir it, you get the water nice and brown, and then you put in whatever milk you want, whether it's normal milk or oat milk or whatever.
Well, with the scones and the cream or the jam first.
Right.
So between different regions, there are different ways of doing things.
That's right.
But yeah, milk in
But
first
it's always
is strong.
jam.
Milk in
So
first.
Claire, you put the milk in first. Stephen, you put the milk in after.
Yeah.
And then on your scone, which we would say scone, and you say a scone, you put, there's a real debate. Do you put the jam first, then the clotted cream?
The jam, then the cream.
Yeah, but some places do cream then jam.
See, I do cream then jam.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
know.
Devon way.
It's the Devon way. That's
Yeah.
another county next
Yeah.
to Dorset.
The Cornish is jam then cream.
So tea, you always have to have tea. And if you live here, and you're American, you always have to have lots of tea bags ready. Everybody drinks tea.
I couldn't find normal tea bags when I was in Florida last, which was 2016, I think. Couldn't find proper tea bags, man.
Setting the table for dinner and dinner etiquette. Scary one.
What forks, knives, spoons, plates, cups. It's sometimes you'll arrive and you're like, there are 4 knives here, and then there are 4 forks, and then there are 3 spoons, and then there are a multitude of like plates, glass.
I mean, this is only if you're like really posh, like having the 4 different kinds of fork. I mean, everyone I know, when they eat, they have a knife and a fork and a spoon. Like,
Glasses. I still get it wrong. And setting the table, you have to do like a thumb, I think, to where everything has to be lined up. So you have to line up the edge or the bottom edge of each utensil alongside the bottom edge of the table and going all the way across, and it's about a
wow.
thumb. I'm actually still really rubbish
Sounds
at
a bit
it. I'll
crazy.
set it, and my husband will, I see him come around and make sure it's all perfect after
Wow.
I've set it.
If our viewers want to see a video about that, hit
Yeah.
the like button and we will do a dinner etiquette video.
That's right. We will do a rubbish dinner etiquette
A
video.
wrong one.
A wrong one. So if you do want that video, hit the like button, comment below, and we will make that video for you.
Definitely. Next.
I mean, look, I get traditions and stuff, but it's just a bit of dinner. Who cares if you have your knives and your forks, you know, slightly misaligned or something? It's just eat the food.
So we would say parking lot.
Car park.
Yeah, car
Car park.
Correct.
Okay, obviously French fries.
Chips.
Right again.
I would say zucchini.
Aubergine?
Oh, that one is
Eggplant.
Pick
Aubergine.
again.
Is that the other way
That
around?
was the other one.
I'm gonna come to that.
An aubergine or a courgette.
Yeah.
Aubergine.
Courgette.
Oh, courgette.
Well done.
Courgette. Okay, so then I would say eggplants, and you would say
Aubergine.
aubergine.
Zucchini, I was going to say.
Okay,
I need to
I'm
know.
gonna say washcloth.
Dishcloth.
See?
Tea towel.
As soon as I'm gonna say
Sponge?
it, a flannel.
Okay,
Yeah, we
Wow.
call it a
yeah,
washcloth.
yeah.
See, if I
Well,
if I had showed you, you would have been.
Oh, a washcloth is one of those like cloths that people have and they wipe themselves down in while they're showering. I have like a sponge, like one of those exfoliating thingies, you know, the puffy ones.
That's
Yeah.
a flannel, right?
Definitely.
Okay. Obviously, we would say soccer.
Football.
Yeah, so that's easy. Okay, this is a good one. Bangs.
Fringe, right?
A friend.
Yes.
You're on fire.
Did you know that we called it bangs?
Right, yeah.
I thought they were on the side, but
No,
yeah,
No,
that's-
it's
that's
here.
it,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
here. Okay, cookie,
Biscuit.
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 Right
This is
again.
good. This is
Oh,
good.
we
you
do
guys.
have cookies.
We do have cookies.
We
yeah.
do have
But I think
cookies.
it's a
And we have
different-
Jaffa cakes, which are biscuits, but they're not actually biscuits. They're classified as
Jaffa
cakes.
cake is a cake.
Jaffa cake to me
What's
is
the
a
difference?
cookie.
What's the difference between a cake and a biscuit?
You're right. See, we're gonna get into this
Have you guys tried Jaffa cakes before? They're really delicious, I promise you.
big argument. No, I was kidding. Okay, wait. This is so fun. I've got to do a couple more. Obviously, we say vacation.
Holiday.
Yes.
Yeah, and the one I don't get is when it's snowing, which it never does here, but you know, maybe one day out of every 10 years, everybody would get out with this much snow. They would get out their sleds.
Yeah. Sledge.
Sledge.
done.
Sledge, like a sledgehammer.
But we go sledding, but we have sledges.
That
We
is
don't go
weird,
sledging.
isn't it?
We go
What?
sledding, yeah. Yeah, sledding.
But you have sledges.
Confusion on her
Sledges.
face.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one is
I'll agree with you on that
strange.
one. That doesn't make any sense.
So we'll stop there because we could go on and on and on.
Well,
but
we do have, turn the tables a little bit, we've got place names.
okay, so we would say, I would say log. Well, I know how to say it the right way.
Log.
Burrug.
Loughborough.
Yeah.
Loughborough.
Right?
And
And
the
it's-
correct one it is.
But to be fair, I can imagine why you would say log, because it looks like log, but the GH for some reason turns into a F sound.
Loughborough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loughborough.
Yeah.
Well
But
done.
we would say
Slightly trickier one.
It is tricky.
Loughborough.
This one's in Wales. See if you can have a go at that one.
Oh, this is the really long one, isn't it?
I can't even
Forget
say
it.
that. That's
Guys, try and pronounce this one at home. Lanfair Pwilgi Nwigli Guger Richwin Drogbwilden Tisilioch. Mate, how is this even a real word?
Lanfar Pil Gwingil Gorgig Drob Will Ant. Do you know how to pronounce
No,
that?
I don't actually.
Right.
That's why I should have done the research for the thing. But yeah, it's a
Right.
long
But-
place name in.
That one was a bit
Even
unfair.
things like, I know how to pronounce it now, but when I first came here, Leicester Square.
Yes.
But it's
Leicester.
Leicester.
Yeah.
Leicester, yeah.
Worcester.
Grosvenor.
Worcestershire.
Yeah.
Lancashire, but it's Lancashire.
Sure.
Leicestershire. Grosvenor Square. It's Grosvenor
I
Square.
don't know how we
I don't
grown
even
up.
know.
We just thought it was normal, but
Yeah.
apparently it is.
See, we just make it easier. That's all.
Shorten them.
That's right. We should.
The next one, slightly related to the weather, and I mean topical for you. It's always cold, and you're always cold. So.
It's always cold, especially in these historic houses. It's always cold. It's just always cold. Like my husband I'll be like, can you just turn the heat up? He's like, it's hot in here. I'm like, hot in here. So that's why you see me wearing a hat a lot.
To be fair, like that house is probably enormous, right? It's probably like a castle. You know, heating that place must be like impossible, and it must cost an absolute fortune. Like if it's like a 15-bedroom house or something like that with super high ceilings, probably built like 400 years ago or something.
So even in my videos when it's like summer and I'm filming, I'll still a lot of the times be wearing a hat.
Wow.
Narrow roads and
Yeah.
roundabouts, and the fact that we drive on the right side of the road, but you'd say we drive on the left side.
We
that's
le-
the
we
right
drive on
side.
the left.
But that's the wrong side. No, that's the wrong side of the road.
But especially here, the narrow roads.
The roads are this big. They go like this. So if you're prone to car sickness, I would think twice about visiting here. Then they don't have like yield signs here. They have roundabouts. And you can get stuck. I mean, when I first got my license here, I would just sit at the roundabout with people honking behind me, being like, lady, you gotta go. And I'm like, I don't know when to go. And then, of course, they drive on the wrong side.
Mate, our roads here can be so narrow. Like, I've obviously driven for quite a few years now, but there are times where, especially if I'm driving at night, like down a country road, because I live now in like northwest London, whereas my family house is in East London. And to approach, like once you get off the motorway to like get to where I'm at now, you got to go through some country roads. So I was driving home one night, like driving here one night, and I thought the road was clear because it was quite late. I didn't think there was anyone coming from the other way. And I'm telling you, this road could only have been maybe 3 meters wide in total, maybe. And out of nowhere, this car just comes. And I just almost shat myself, man. Just like, there must have been like an inch between my right hand wing mirror and his left one. It was a very sketchy moment.
Of the road. I mean, you're one of like a handful of countries that drive on the left side of the road. Come on, it's the wrong side. Debatable.
Debatable.
Swimming in the sea.
Everybody here. So remember, the UK, you don't even have to remember this because you know this, is an island. So it's surrounded by water. And it's not Mediterranean water
It's
at all.
cold.
It's
It's
not
cold.
the Caribbean. It's freezing cold all year round. All year round. Even in summer, because there isn't really summer here, because it's freezing cold here in the summer. Everybody here swims in this freezing cold sea like it's the Mediterranean.
It's usually about 9 or 10 degrees Celsius. That's another one that we didn't have actually.
It's
A
been
Celsius and
18
Fahrenheit.
degrees recently.
Really?
Though.
18, I don't even know what that
Well,
means.
that's-
I've been
that's
here
still
20
cold.
years.
That's
18
still quite
degrees,
cold.
what is that like? That is not hot. That's like
60 maybe
no,
Fahrenheit.
I think it's like 65 degrees Fahrenheit. If you think going swimming in a sea in 65 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever is warm, Claire thinks it's
I was
warm.
saying that's warm. For a diver, that is warm. That's tropical.
That it's cold. The sea's
Tropical.
always cold.
And the final one is we're a lot more reserved, so we don't. When you go and greet someone, it's
I agree that we're more reserved here, but like when I see my friends, we're hugging each other like when we first see each other. Like I think with younger people it's changing a lot. Like I don't know whether it's because we watch a lot of American stuff and we see you guys like being more affectionate. I think younger people are a lot more like touchy-feely now compared to like older people.
usually a handshake or something. There's no hugs. There's
Right.
no kind of.
Hugs
there's
are
very
off
little
limits. So they handshake. They either handshake, or they're like, oh, if you know them like a little bit more familiar, it can be like a. Like that's what I do with like friends, my English friends, and then of course, but I do still give my English friends who I do love and adore a big hug as
Yeah,
well. So,
man.
but you don't really hug here, do you guys?
No, we're a lot more reserved in the way we.
Yeah, you're a lot more reserved with.
I'm a big hugger. I love hugs and I love giving hugs. They're awesome, man. A bit of, physical contact is always nice.
Everything.
Stiff upper lip.
Stiff upper lip, whereas the American, we wear our emotions on our sleeve. So there you go.
Which
was that
I like.
it?
That's
Was
it.
that
That's
the
top 10. Yeah.
That was the top 10. So let us know down below what was your favorite of these.
Great video. Have to agree with most of what she said for sure. The food here is definitely a lot different. Like every time, like one example is like whenever we go to the States, when I first sip like a soft drink, it is just so much sweeter. Like when we get back and we drink the soft drinks here, it's almost bland because here there's a sugar tax now on soft drinks. So a lot of companies have massively reduced the amount of sugar in their soft drinks. And also even in things like the food, like I think our food has a lot less sugar and maybe a bit less seasoning in general. Like especially like Chinese takeaways and stuff, like takeouts. Like here, there's a lot less sugar used in things like orange chicken and stuff like that. Our roads are way narrower here, way narrower. We obviously don't have any intersections. It's all roundabouts. What else did she say? Yeah, people tend to be more reserved here. Although, like I said, I think it's changing with younger people. And the whole, encouraging people to be more open and embrace their like mental health and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree with most of what she said. Like, great video, really enjoyed it. Let me know if any of you guys have made the move, from the States to the UK, and if you agree with what she said. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.